Seeds of Wisdom RV and Economics Updates Tuesday afternoon, September 23, 25. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Good afternoon. Dinar recaps: China's expanding leverage, diplomacy with Washington, alignment with Pyongyang. Beijing reopens doors with U.S. lawmakers while deepening ties with North Korea, signaling a dual-track strategy to stabilize trade while strengthening authoritarian alliances. U.S. lawmakers in Beijing, breaking the ice. A bipartisan U.S. delegation met Chinese Premier Li Qiang in Beijing, the first such visit since 2019. The trip emphasized breaking the ice after years of trade wars, pandemic-era freezes, and tensions over Taiwan. Both sides touched on AI governance, military dialogue, and fentanyl control, suggesting areas where cooperation may cautiously grow. Yet, disputes over semiconductors, tariffs, and Taiwan remain unsolved, structural points of friction unlikely to fade. Why this matters? This visit shows Beijing is willing to appear cooperative with Washington when it suits economic and stability needs, but it doesn't erase deeper divides. It's a strategic pause, not a reversal. Kim Jong-un and Xi, authoritarian solidarity. Kim Jong-un pledged to strengthen ties with China more vigorously, thanking Xi for backing during sanctions pressure. Both leaders stood together at Beijing's World War II military parade, a symbolic gesture of unity. Kim reiterated openness to talks with the U.S., but only if Washington drops disarmament demands, a non-starter. China's support shields Pyongyang economically, undermining international sanctions and allowing nuclear development to continue. Why this matters? China's cover for North Korea ensures America faces two tracks of pressure: an adversarial nuclear partner in Pyongyang and a cooperative competitor in Beijing. Together, they erode U.S. influence in Asia and weaken sanctions as a policy tool. Connecting the dots: Vietnam, Beijing, Pyongyang. Vietnam's biometric freeze highlights how governments in Asia are experimenting with financial control tools that mirror the Genius Act framework in the U.S. At the same time, China is playing both sides, warming ties with the U.S. to protect trade flows while cementing authoritarian alliances with North Korea to counterbalance U.S. power. These moves aren't isolated, they're part of a global shift in which finance, diplomacy, and digital control systems converge. Why this matters? The U.S. faces a narrowing corridor. Financial control tools, as seen in Vietnam, are normalizing in Asia, previewing what could happen under Genius Act frameworks. China's diplomacy with Washington is tactical, not transformative. China-North Korea solidarity signals deeper alignment of states hostile to U.S. influence. This is not just politics, it's global finance restructuring before our eyes. Geopolitical flashpoints from Moscow to Beijing point to a deeper truth. The old order is fracturing, and money, not missiles, will decide the outcome. Russia. Arms control erodes, digital ruble emerges. Putin's offer to extend New START is less about diplomacy and more about buying time as Russia modernizes its arsenal and prepares for post-dollar trade via the digital ruble. With NATO tensions rising over airspace violations, Moscow frames security through both hard power, nuclear, and soft power, currency modernization. The linkage is clear. When trust in arms control breaks down, nations double down on financial and technological sovereignty. China. Expanding leverage on two fronts. A rare U.S. congressional visit to Beijing shows Washington is trying to cool tensions, but China is setting the terms, from AI talks to trade routes. Meanwhile, Xi and Kim's embrace in Beijing signals a firmer China-North Korea bloc, complicating U.S. strategies in East Asia. This dual diplomacy shows China's method: pair military alliances with financial tools like M-Bridge, weaving security and money into one strategy. M-Bridge, the silent game-changer. While Russia and NATO spar and China manages diplomacy, M-Bridge quietly reshapes finance itself. A BRICS plus Gulf-backed multi-CBDC network, it challenges SWIFT and dollar dominance. If paired with digital ruble rollouts and yuan trade settlements, it becomes the settlement layer for the very conflicts dominating today's headlines. NATO and the dollar link. NATO's reaffirmation of defending every inch may look like military doctrine, but it's also financial doctrine. Defending territory means defending supply chains, payment flows, and dollar-backed systems. When borders are tested, so are currency regimes. The common thread. Power is shifting from weapons to wallets. Russia's nuclear diplomacy, China's regional leverage, and Embridge's rise are not isolated. They are different sides of the same coin. Nations retooling both their arsenals and their financial systems for a post-dollar world. Where Washington leans on NATO and the Genius Act, Moscow and Beijing lean on digital currencies, alliances, and parallel systems, foreign currency investments. Why this matters? We need to pay attention to this pattern. These are not random events. They're deliberate moves in a larger game where currency, payment systems, and digital identity matter as much as missiles or treaties. This is not just politics, it's global finance restructuring before our eyes. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: dinarrecaps.com